You ever follow a story, like in the news, and just get this feeling there's way more going on underneath it all?
Oh, definitely.
Like you're only seeing the tip of the iceberg.
Exactly. And maybe it's a much darker picture. That's kind of what we're diving into today.
Okay.
We're looking really closely at this fatal stabbing in Ipswich and the whole investigation that spun out from it.
Right.
I mean, a young life tragically lost, and right away there are these questions that feel, well, unsettling. Compelling, but unsettling.
Absolutely. And our main source here, it's a report from the East Anglian Daily Times. It gives us the basics, the who, what, when, where. But like you said, we want to look beyond just those headlines.
Yeah, what are the implications? What's still kind of hidden in the shadows where the information isn't clear yet?
Precisely. That's the mission here.
And right from the start, the details themselves, they just carry this weight. You feel this unease.
You do.
Courtney Mitchell, she was 26, a mother of 3. And her life was just cut short. August 6th, Burrell Road in Ipswich. And the timing. Around 7 p.m.
Yeah, just walking with friends. They were heading towards the Ipswich skate park.
Yes.
It's a normal evening, right? And then just turns into this nightmare.
The article describes it as a really brutal attack. Multiple stab wounds to her upper body.
Horrific.
And the immediate response, emergency services right there at the scene, it just highlights how severe it was.
And then the rush to Ipswich Hospital. But she was pronounced dead less than an hour later.
At 7:51 p.m., yeah. It paints a very grim picture. And the post-mortem later, it preliminarily confirms stab wounds to the chest.
Just solidifies how violent it was.
Exactly.
So the investigation kicks off pretty much straight away. And one of the first things that really jumped out at me was this arrest. A 35-year-old man arrested on suspicion of assisting an offender. Now, when you hear that, your mind starts racing, doesn't it?
It really does. It suggests that the police, even really early on, thought maybe more than one person was involved somehow.
Right, or involved in the aftermath, maybe?
Yeah. Assisting an offender implies they suspect a crime happened, obviously, and that this person did something to, help the person who actually committed it.
And he was taken to the Martlesham Police Investigation Center.
That's right. Standard procedure for, the allegations that serious.
Okay, but here's where the story takes a bit of a turn. Something feels kind of unresolved. This man, the 35-year-old, he was released on bail, had conditions, supposed to return in October.
Okay, standard enough so far.
But then the police later announced that nope, no further action would be taken against him.
Oh,
Full stop.
Right. That is interesting.
It really makes you wonder, okay, why the initial arrest then? What did they suspect him of doing? And what changed to lead to him being completely released?
That's the real mystery around that part of the case, isn't it? Why arrest someone in connection with a fatal stabbing only to, clear them completely?
Yeah.
It makes you think about early evidence, Maybe it was just being near the scene, or perhaps an initial witness statement that didn't hold up later. It just highlights how tricky those first stages of an investigation can be. They're trying to piece everything together, and sometimes leads just fizzle out.
It really shows that investigations aren't usually a straight line, are they?
Not at all.
They follow different paths, and sometimes those paths are just dead ends. But still, to be arrested, linked so directly, even if just by suspicion initially, to such a violent crime, and totally exonerated, it definitely adds this layer of, intrigue.
It absolutely does. So, while that particular thread seems closed, the article pivots to another key figure.
Logan Burnett.
Yes. Logan Burnett, 27 years old, also from Ipswich. He's the one who's actually been charged with the murder of Courtney Mitchell.
Right. And crucially, when he appeared in court, the report says no plea was entered.
Correct. No plea yet.
So he's accused, but we don't know his stance. And the court remanded him in custody. He's due back before Ipswich Crown Court in November.
Which, that decision to remand him, it speaks volumes about how serious the charge is perceived to be.
Absolutely. And it gives us a date, doesn't it? Something concrete to watch for the next big developments in the case.
Exactly. And that timing, the incident in August, the Crown Court date in November, it allows time, doesn't it? Prosecution builds its case, defense prepares. It's that period where all the evidence gets scrutinized. The groundwork for what could be a really complex legal fight is being laid right now.
The article also mentions the inquest opening. That happened at Suffolk Coroner's Court.
Yes, on the Friday following the incident, I believe.
And the details shared there, they pretty much match what we've already talked about, right? Courtney Mitchell leaving with friends, walking towards the skate park, and then the stabbing itself.
Yeah, the purpose of opening an inquest, especially this early, is really just to establish the basic facts for the record. Who died, when, where, and the preliminary medical cause.
It's a fact-finding thing, separate from the criminal side.
Totally separate. So confirming the stab wounds as the cause of death there, it just makes it part of the official record.
But, beyond all the procedures, the legal stuff, the human side of this just hits you so hard when you read the family's tribute.
Oh, absolutely. It's raw, heartbreaking.
They call her a great mom, say her 3 kids loved her immeasurably. Those words, they just stick with you.
They really do, those direct quotes. We miss you, and you are forever in our hearts, and as a family, we are completely and utterly devastated and broken. I mean, it's just such a profound expression of their grief.
It really grounds the story, doesn't it? Reminds you, this isn't just a case file, it's a catastrophe for this family.
Absolutely.
And they share these lovely little details, too, about her contagious smile, how her laughter was the sweetest sound. Those glimpses of who she actually was, they're so important. They remind you of the vibrant person who's gone, and it just amplifies the tragedy.
Exactly. It pulls you away from just the clinical facts of the crime and forces you to confront the real human cost. That's what resonates, isn't it? It's a life extinguished, leaving all this pain behind.
Yeah. Now, there's another piece here that really stood out to me. It adds yet another layer of complexity.
Okay.
The article mentions a mandatory referral. Essex Police made it to the IOPC, the Independent Office for Police Conduct.
Ah, right.
And it's about previous contact between the police and Miss Mitchell. Now, when you hear that, it immediately suggests there's some kind of history there, a backstory we don't know about yet.
It certainly does suggest that. A mandatory referral, that means the police force itself flags something about prior interactions with her that needs independent looking into.
Right.
It could be anything, really. Previous reports she might have made, incidents she was involved in, any kind of official contact. But the fact it's mandatory, that hints at potentially serious implications regarding whatever happened before.
And the article is, well, deliberately vague about what that contact actually was, which just deepens that sense of unease, Makes you wonder if that prior interaction, whatever it entailed, could possibly have any bearing on what happened on August 6th, directly or indirectly.
It introduces this separate but potentially very significant line of investigation running alongside the murder inquiry itself.
Exactly.
So the IOPC, they'll do their own investigation now, look into how that previous contact was handled, whether it was appropriate, and their findings, well, they could have real consequences. Maybe recommendations for police procedure changes, maybe even disciplinary stuff. It all depends on what they uncover.
It's like another piece of this puzzle being examined by someone else entirely.
Precisely.
And finally, the report mentions the community's response, the vigil.
Ah, yes, on what would have been her 27th birthday.
Yeah, her family and friends gathering at Felix de Hope Beach, releasing lanterns into the sky. It's just such a powerful image of remembrance and grief.
Those kinds of collective acts of mourning, they really show the ripple effect of these tragedies through a community, don't they?
They really do.
It's a way for people to come together, support the family, and just publicly acknowledge the life that's been lost. Releasing the lanterns, it's such a poignant visual, isn't it? Letting go, but also holding on to that memory.
So when we try and piece together all these fragments from just this one report, we're left with this situation that feels, well, far from resolved, still shrouded in this uncertainty.
Definitely.
A young mother, gone. One man accused, waiting for Crown Court. Another man, initially suspected, now completely cleared, leaving these nagging questions about why he was involved at all. And underneath it all, this separate investigation into prior police contact, adding this whole other dimension.
We've got the basic framework from the inquest, we have the family's heartbreaking words, and then these tangled threads of inquiry that are still unfolding. The full picture is just, it's not clear yet. So many questions still just hanging there.
You really do wonder, don't you? What else is going to come out when Logan Burnett's case goes to court?
Yeah, what details might emerge then?
And what will that IOPC investigation actually find about the police's previous contact with Courtney Mitchell? Those feel like really crucial elements that could completely change how we understand this whole tragedy.
It's true. This single article, it gives us the facts, but it also opens this window into just how complex and honestly, how opaque these investigations and their aftermath can be.
Yeah.
It shows you all the layers beneath just the headline news, the constant search for the truth, and the undeniable human impact of violence on, individuals, families, whole communities.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? How even in what seems like a straightforward news story, there's always this deep, often really unsettling undercurrent, human drama, lives crossing paths, and then just tragically diverging. It's a reminder, I guess, to look beyond just the facts presented, acknowledge all the different angles, and accept that sometimes the questions just linger, casting this really long shadow.
And this deep dive, it's really just scratching the surface, isn't it? As more information eventually comes out, the story is bound to keep evolving. Who knows what unexpected turns might still be ahead?